Okay, thank you. Okay, as soon as I hit record, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, Hafide, everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the Board of Commissioners regularly scheduled meeting for December 16th. It is 12:32 and I'm calling this meeting to order with roll call. Let's start with roll call. I believe Vice Chair Monica Guzman will not be joining us. She sent in a note. Commissioner Ishizaki.
Here.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Delia, I believe also is not going to be able to join us. Commissioner Rice.
Here.
Commissioner Corpus.
Present.
Okay, and Commissioner Sanchez.
Present.
Okay, awesome. I believe we have quorum, and so we will proceed. Let's move on to the approval of let's move on to the board meeting public announcements on Friday, December 9th, and second printing on December 14th, which is located in your packets for affirmation. Take a second to look. Yep, I believe everything is in order, so we proceed with the approval of board minutes of November 22nd, 2022, which is also located in your board packets.
If I may, the only thing that I do see that's on the very first page is really that under management and staff, it shows me, but I was not present at that at the meeting on November 22nd. So we just need to show that I was absent.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
Nothing else other than that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Deputy, I see your hand.
Yeah, if I may, Mr. Chair, just a correction on the board minutes, page 3.
Okay.
Second from the last paragraph, Deputy Director added that GHURA feels confident that the company, so just move that we strike "that is with," and so it should read that the company is fully aware of the complexities and all that is required.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much. Any other corrections? If none, may I get a motion to approve?
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve GHURA board minutes of November 22nd, 2022,
Okay. Subject to corrections?
subject to correction.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice, for the second. Any further discussion on the matter? All right, hearing or seeing none, may I call for the vote? All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand so I may see you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you very much. Any opposed? Okay, hearing and seeing none, the motion passes to approve board minutes of November 22nd, 2022, subject to any corrections. Thank you very much. Moving on to new business, resolution number FY 2023-006.
Thank you, Chairman.
Director.
Resolution approving above, resolution number FY 2023-006, resolution approving above step recruitments for the accountant 2 positions. Whereas under the enabling legislation of the authority, Title 12, 5103 GCA, its Board of Commissioners is empowered to employ officers, technical experts, agents, and employees, permanent and temporary, as it may deem necessary, and shall determine their qualifications, duties, tenure, and compensation. And whereas Title IV of the Guam Code annotated, the appointing authority or the head of an agency, department, or public corporation listed in 4 GCA 4105A may petition the Director of Administration, the Judicial Council as to judicial branch employment, or the agency, department, or public corporation's governing board or commission as to an agency, department, or public corporations listed in 4 GCA 4105A for recruitment at a higher step not to exceed step 10 because of documented difficulty or exceptional qualifications. And whereas on 9/22/2022, GHURA recruited for 2 Accountant 2 positions and offered them to Mr. Bedrick B. Briones and Ms. G. Young Kim Regis. And whereas Mr. Briones and Ms. Regis submitted their request to Executive Management and the GHURA Board of Commissioners for consideration of an above the minimum step recruitment for the classified positions of Accountant 2 based on exceptional qualifications. And whereas, given the critical need and severe staffing shortages in the fiscal division to fill these positions immediately, the BOC approved an above step recruitment for the temporary positions, while HR completes the necessary disclosure and transparency requirements as stipulated in 4 GCA section 6205. And whereas, since GHURA's HR has now completed the required disclosures and transparency requirements, Executive Management now seeks approval from the GHURA Board of Commissioners for an above the minimum step recruitment for the 2 Accountant 2s based on recruitment difficulty and exceptional qualifications. And whereas the exceptional qualifications for the Accountant 2 position consists of the following employees: Mr. Bedrick B. Briones. He worked in private, banking industry, and military sectors. He introduced the process of digital signature features and eliminating the need to print hard copy checks. He upgraded the bank's prepaid expense worksheet and reduced preparation time by over 50%. He was quickly promoted after only 1 year to investment officer. As investment officer, he processed over 30 million per month of wire transfers, error-free, journal entries over $1 billion worth of investments, and automated many processes that increased the bank's overall efficiencies. And with Mr. Briones joining the fiscal team, GHURA expects him to improve the level of efficiency and effectiveness of the fiscal division. With Ms. Gi Young Kim Regis, she worked in private and military sectors in internal audit assurance practices, fraud investigation, has 3 to 5 year budget and business plans experience, individual, corporate, and nonprofit organization tax. And with Ms. Regis joining the fiscal team, GHURA expects her to improve the level of efficiency and effectiveness of the fiscal division. Whereas management believes the compensation package of salary and benefits, in example, retirement, holidays, annual/sick leave, etc., is fair, and respectfully requests an above step recruitment of Mr. Bedrick B. Briones and Ms. G. Young Kim Regis to MG4-7E, $55,560 per annum at $26.71 per hour. And whereas the GHURA board recognizes it has the discretionary authority to go below or beyond management's recommendations, in example, MG4-2A, $39,921 per annum or $19.19 per hour, through MG4-10F, $66,809 per annum, $32.12 per hour maximum, but supports management's requests for the above step recruitment. And whereas funding for this position is available from COCC funds, and be it further resolved that in consideration of the applicant's exceptional knowledge and experience, the GHURA Board of Commissioners grants the above step requirement for Mr. Bedrick B. Briones, MG 4-7E at $55,560 per annum or $26.71 per hour. And Ms. G. Young Kim Rages, MG 4-7E, $55,560 per annum, $26.71 per hour. If you have any questions, Ms. Kim, our HR administrator, is available for questions.
Thank you, Madam Director. Commissioners, do you have any questions for our team? I think on the fiscal and finance, the accounting and finance side, right? We've had many of these discussions about the need for these folks and the shortage of the availability of these skill sets in these professions. And I think we have that on record, quite a few instances and discussions on that. But for the sake of this record, and since we have our folks there, just want to put it on the record, right? Our HR, from our HR side and our finance side, right? HR side, you vetted this and everything checks out based on what the director has stated. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you
yes, sir.
affirm?
Good afternoon, commissioners. Yes, sir. What the director has stated on the resolution is complete. We are ready now to present it to the board, which we just did, and are seeking your kind review and approval of this request. As you know, they're
Right.
very difficult to fill. They've been on board as the temporary. So again, thank you for accommodating us. And it was a good call because the fiscal team needed the help.
Right.
And so we look forward to moving things more efficiently and effectively with the team and the skill set we have now. So Ms. G. Rages is here behind me if you wanted to see her face, but and get to meet her. But basically, we are respectfully requesting the board's support on this above step recruitment.
Okay. And on the fiscal side, right? This all checks out also, right?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay. Thank you very much. On my end, I have nothing further. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
None for me, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Hearing and seeing none, then I think we can move this along. May I get a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I motion to approve resolution number FY 2023-006. Resolution approving the above step recruitments for the accountant 2 position. Fiscal
Right.
division.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. May I get a second?
Second that motion.
Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner Shizaki. Any further discussion on the matter at hand? Hearing and seeing none, may I call for the vote? All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand so I can see you. 1, 2, 3. And Commissioner Shizaki?
I think I froze again, so yes.
Okay, no worries. Thank you very much. Motion passes. FY 2023 resolution number FY 2023-006 for above step recruitment of accounting 2 positions for the fiscal division passes unanimously. Thank you, commissioners. Moving on to resolution number FY 2023-007. Madam Director.
Thank you, Chairman. Resolution number FY 2023-007. Resolution approving above step recruitment for the engineer 2 position at the temporary position. Whereas under the enabling legislation of the authority, Title 12, 5103 GCA, its Board of Commissioners is empowered to employ officers, technical experts, agents, and employees, permanent and temporary, as it may deem necessary, and shall determine their qualifications, duties, tenure, and compensation. And whereas the Board of Commissioners recognizes their authority to recruit above the minimum step and wishes to do so even for temporary positions. And whereas with the upcoming AE construction projects, specifically for the modernization grant programs, and whereas the authority on November 16, 2022, offered Mr. Miguel T. Fernandez a temporary position to the engineering 2 position. And whereas Mr. Fernandez requested an above-step recruitment salary to $68,000 per annum. And whereas the Board of Commissioners acknowledges both the recruitment difficulty and Mr. Fernandez's exceptional qualifications and the critical need to move the construction projects along. And whereas Mr. Fernandez's exceptional qualifications include the following: Republic of the Philippines government certifications for construction project management, Republic of the Philippines Department of Trade and Industry Construction Manpower Development Foundation, Association of Safety Practitioners of the Philippines Incorporated, ASPPI member, Republic of the Philippines Department of Labor and Employment, Bureau of Working Conditions, Intramuros, Manila, Occupational Safety and Health Practitioner, Republic of the Philippines Department of Labor and Employment, Bureau of Working Conditions, Intramuros, Manila, COA number 1033-027-26311-1132. U.S. federal certifications include NAVFAC Construction Quality Management, Naval Facilities Engineering Command, OSHA 40-hour EM 385-1-1, conducted by OSH Solutions Guam on February 13, 2020. Graduation from the Manuel L. Quezon University with the Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering in March 1987. Whereas Mr. Fernandez possesses over 37 years of private sector engineering experience, consisting of, number one, 13 years of various private sector experience on Guam, and two, over 20 years of experience as the project engineer / manager in the Philippines, and number three, 1 year in Saudi Arabia. And whereas in consideration of both the recruitment difficulty and exceptional qualifications, the Board of Commissioners wishes to compensate Mr. Fernandez at above the minimum step for the temporary position of Engineer 2 at pay grade NG4 Step 9F, which is $68,271 per annum. And whereas funding for the above step recruitment is available under federal funds, and now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners, in accordance with Title IV of the Guam Code annotated 6205, grants the above step recruitment to Mr. Miguel T. Fernandez to the temporary position of Engineer 2 at pay grade NG4 Step 9F, $68,271 per annum. Ms. Kim is also again available for any questions.
Thank you, Madam Director. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the leadership team? I believe this is the same as.
Yeah, I got one, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
Is he a licensed professional engineer? Because I didn't see that in the.
No, he's not.
Okay, so that kind of limits his abilities, right? So Sonny has to sign off.
Yes, I believe so.
All right,
Yes.
got it. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So when we were discussing the hiring for this position, it is an engineer position, but there is kind of an expressed focus. So if you consider the amount we would be paying, what we're really looking for is somebody to really be out there in the field and can provide that knowledgeable feedback back to the engineering department to ensure the project keep moving forward. Now, in terms of the specification and scopes that we do, that's going to be really left to Sunny and Michael so that they can focus on that, keep them working on those plans and scopes while they have somebody in the field to be able to do that and ensure the project management side of it is consistently going, especially for our at-risk projects.
Got it. Thank you for that clarification. Makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Sure.
Ms. Kim, this is a temporary position. What is the time frame for his? This is a contract, you know?
No, temporary position is basically your equivalent of an at-will employee.
What's that, Will?
Yeah,
Okay,
they can.
okay, so he can leave
Yes, and we can release them
at any
at
time.
any time.
Okay. does that temporary position open up the possibility for a permanent position?
It depends on the budget and it
Budget.
going through the merit system,
Merit
of
system.
course, merit
Yeah.
system #1 in the
Okay.
budget, so.
What's the time frame?
I think first we're trying to get the team up to speed,
Okay.
complete the projects, and then do another assessment of the
Assessment.
staffing level requirement.
After-
And if so,
as soon as
yes,
that-
we'll
those
come back to the board.
Variables are addressed first. right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll come back to the board if there's a need to continue further.
Nice.
But thank you for the question.
Thank you, Ms. Gill. Appreciate it.
I got one. Sonny, how many engineers do you have altogether?
Including Mike, sir, 1.
Oh.
And myself, of course, but you know,
Thank you. I thought you had more than one. Okay. All right.
yeah. However, my staff, which includes Andrew and Bob, they're very excellent building inspectors. Mr. Maglonia also does, computer aided drafting, and is well versed in many of the standards, although, I can't call him an engineer as per
Correct.
legal reasons.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Got it. Thank you. And we believe that this is gonna, well, obviously you're shorthanded, that's for sure, but we believe that this is really gonna help with some of our critical cases, right? That is pending out there for a timeliness issue.
And for mod too, there's mod
Come on,
project.
got it.
capital
Okay,
fund.
thank
Mr.
you
Chair, I
very
have
much.
one last question. Excuse me.
Sure.
Sonny, if I may, how many engineers in an ideal world would you need to be efficient, sufficient
That's a tough question, sir.
estimation?
Well, it depends on the type of projects that we have. Yeah, most of, the typical rule of thumb is a 10% per contract, project amount.
Right.
And so if we run at about, 20 million a year.
Sure.
Then that would be your budget. 10% of that would be the number of engineers. So that would be preferred to have.
Got it.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Ideally,
Okay.
yes. And of course, just like Mike, he can multitask or multidiscipline.
Sure.
He can do structural as well as civil,
Right.
in the environment. When I say civil, he can do the.
He's a Swiss Army knife.
Yes. And with me, I can do the mechanical and HVAC and plumbing. So that's kind of how we synergize our.
Right.
our
Symbiotically.
talents.
Yep. Thank you, son. Appreciate you very much.
Okay. Thank you much. Any further questions, commissioners? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, may I get a motion?
All right,
Resolution number. Yes,
Mr. Chair, just one extra comment, 10 seconds.
Sure.
if you can. Mr. Miguel, we've worked together many times at the University of Guam. And I've known him for quite some time. He is, and I don't know if this has any bearing, but he is a marathon runner. He doesn't mind sweating. He's run on several Guam marathons and also marathons in the Philippines. So that tells me about his character, that he's willing to go out in the field and pound the ground, pound the dirt, and not come back until the job gets done. That's typical of marathon runners. So that's a very big positive. And he's been out and about for 37 years. He's been doing this longer than I have been alive, almost. And so that's another one. He's backed up with a lot of experience, and he's worked on 3 large military projects on an average of $20 million a piece. The largest one he's worked on is up at Anderson Air Force Base, one of the hangars there that were valued at about $100 million. So he started and completed it. So that shows his dedication and his knowledge and expertise. Albeit he's not a professional engineer, but he can go toe to toe with many that I've known. So there you go.
oh, thank you very much. And we're in the holiday season, so Guam's getting cold, so make sure you get him a sweater while he's out there. Okay, commissioners, any other questions on this resolution? Okay. If not, may I get a motion on the floor?
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve above step recruitment for engineer 2 position, which is a temporary position, for resolution number FY 2023-007.
Thank you, Commissioner Suzaki. May I get a second?
Second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. Any further discussion on the resolution on the floor? Hearing and seeing none, may I call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand so I may see you. 1, 2, Commissioner Nate and Commissioner. Okay, thank you very much. All right. Resolution number FY 2023-007 unanimously passes. Thank you, commissioners. Moving on to item number 3, intent to award IFB number GHURA-COCC-022-010 for banking services. Madam Director, is that you?
Okay, thank you, Chairman. The notice of intent to award RFP number GHURA-COCC-022-010 for banking services. Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority is requesting the approval from the Board of Commissioners to move forward with the intent to award to Bank of Guam for banking services. Bank of Guam was the only bidder that submitted a proposal. The RFP solicitation start date was October 21st, 2022, with a second advertisement being published in the newspaper of general circulation on October 26, 2022. On October 27, 2022, at 9:28 a.m. Chamorro Standard Time, an email was sent to reach out to banking institutions available on island to inform them of the non-mandatory pre-bid conference that was scheduled for October 28, 2022 at 10 a.m. No banking institution representatives showed up to participate. The RFP was reviewed by procurement staff and the Controller of Fiscal Division for responsiveness and completeness. The evaluation committee initially reviewed and scored the sole bidder's proposal without cost and gave a final score which was deemed reasonable. A letter was sent to HUD on December 13, 2022 for approval of the intent to award due to sole bid submission results of this procurement. HUD responded in a letter dated December 14, 2022, but received December 16, 2022. The response from HUD was to proceed with intent to award. If you have any questions, I do have Fran from Fiscal to answer any questions, and also Tina from Procurement, should you have any questions regarding the banking services.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, do you have any questions? It sounds like the due diligence was done, and also HUD has also taken a look at the certain circumstances that this bid is in and affirms the intent to award. So any further questions does the commissioners have on this?
I think I'm okay with the whole thing, Mr. Chair. However, in my packet, I don't have that information.
There was an additional email that was sent out as a separate attachment.
Okay.
I don't know if you got the most recent email.
So I did not get that.
Okay, we'll make sure. Yeah, there was a second email that was sent out. Audrey, if you can just send it to send a separate email to Commissioner Suzaki to follow up.
Will do, sir. We'll get on it right now. Commissioner Shizaki.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Do I have a motion on the floor for intent to award? Any motion?
Mr. Chair, I motion to intend to award IFB number GURA COCC 022 010 banking service.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. May I get a second on the motion?
I'll second that.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Rice. Any further discussion on the intent to award? Hearing and seeing none, may I call for the vote. All in favor to award IFB GURA COCC 022 010 for banking services. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand so I may see you. Commissioner Rice, 1. Commissioner Zoc, 2. Commissioner Nate, Commissioner Corpus, thank you very much. Motion unanimously passes for intent to award. Thank you very much, Commissioners. Moving on to item number 4, the Umata Baseball Field Rehab Project change order.
Thank you, Chairman. As indicated on the letter dated today's date, December 16th, this is a request to approve the change order to the subject contract and project, and it's the request to approve change order to contract GURA 09-26-2017 CDBG Infratech International LLC to rehabilitate the Sinahanya and Umatic baseball fields. And it's the change order is subject contract and project per the information below. So for background, GURA intended to rehabilitate 2 baseball fields located in the villages of Sinahanya and Umatic. Work scope included renovating and regrading the existing playing fields, restrooms, replacement of fencing and backstops, adding swales for stormwater control, and increasing automobile parking stalls. GURA released and closed a bid on the subject project on October 26, 2017, whereby Infratech International LLC, Infratech, was determined to be the lowest and most qualified bidder. GURA issued a base contract for $810,000 and an NTP to Infratech on May 14, 2018 for both Umatic and Sinahanya baseball fields. Within the Umatic fields project's timeline, 3 change orders were issued to the Infratech's contract. $200,000 was for the purchase of additional lights and lighting structural modifications, $46,970 to purchase and install backfill needed to stabilize the existing clay playing field, and $32,000 to install a permittable field lighting electrical system. Analysis. The Umatic baseball field project is considered substantially complete pending utility installation, power and water. GURA has partnered with GPA and GWA to coordinate their efforts to understand and minimize the time required towards meeting the administrative permit requirements. GPA has conducted several site inspections and has notified Infratech to follow GPA's application requirements to avoid any delays in scheduling and conducting their final inspection. There may possibly be a charge to Infratech for the application process, but minimal. GURA recognizes this possibility and offers Infratech an equitable change in its contract when the costs become known. Connecting to the water utility has challenged Infratech and GURA's AE division. Locating underground infrastructure is not a difficult matter, but the site infrastructure records and history were scant to none. GURA's AE determined some time ago that the pre-renovated Umatic baseball field was connected to a nearby water meter that supplied water to the restroom facility. For a reason unknown to GURA and lost in GWA records, the meter was removed along with the piping infrastructure. When Infratech attempted to locate the infrastructure to connect the new restrooms water lines, it was non-existent. Due to the rainy season, they took several months and were unsuccessful. It was GURA, GWA, and Infratech's decision to install infrastructure and connect to a nearby water hydrant to supply water to the baseball field's restrooms. Recommendation. GURA's AE submits a government estimate of $8,000. Infotech remains currently sourcing materials, and GWA has committed to supply materials that Infotech may not be able to find on island. We recommend to approve change order number 4 to this contract. Any additional costs can be subject to an equitable change in the contract. If you have any questions, I do have Mr. Sunny here regarding this matter.
Ms. Audrey, if I may, there is a quick presentation I'd like to present to the board, just so that you can see what you may be approving. Thank you. Ms. Audrey, second slide, please. Commissioners, are you able to see those slides? I'll have her do a full screen.
Yes.
Okay, so. It just got small.
She has it on her top screen.
Yeah.
Audrey, put it on your widescreen. You gotta drag the box over, I believe. To maximize.
Okay, let me, a few seconds, please. Okay.
As you too. Merry Christmas. Yes. God bless you.
Okay, so commissioners and Madam Director and Mr. Deputy, it's really tiny from where we're sitting, but nonetheless, those are the plot maps for the site. Site maps for the location of the baseball field. It's rather tiny from where we're looking at, but that's the placement of the baseball field in relation to, of course, Guam. Next slide, please, Ms. Audrey. Okay, just as a quick update, the project is at 97% complete. And it is pending power and water connections. Right now, currently, Mayor Kanata is upkeeping the facility to when he can, keeping away the water buffaloes, carabaos, and the pigs from eating and scratching up the place. So as you can see, many of the power poles are up, the restrooms are completed, the fences are all done, and even the parking lot is pretty much ready to be used. Now, I'd like for you to put a thumb where the restroom location is at, because that is going to be important on the upcoming presentation. Okay, next slide, please, Ms. Audrey. Okay, and so as you can see the location of the baseball field on the site plan, and the location of the bathroom facility or the restroom facilities in regards to the baseball field itself, found in the upper left-hand portion of the drawing. You can see the distance from where the potential installation of the infrastructure is going to be. Now, as you move from the restroom facilities over to where the blue line is at, that was the expected infrastructure location or the tie-ins for the water lines. Now, Infotech and GHURA, me personally went down there and we did not find any of those lines. And so we called Waterworks. They claim that it's there, but it's not. So we all agreed we need to get them installed. Typically, these pipes, the meters and all that is already in underground and should be easy to find. Sometimes you find them with metal detectors, but in this picture, we just could not find them. And so I recommend to, instead of us having to go and drag the issue out any further, we would have Infotech install the additional infrastructure so that they can tie into the system near the water hydrant. And as you can see the picture with the water hydrant, that's where the proposed tie-in would be. Okay, and I think there's one more picture, Miss Audrey. Or one more, there you go. And this is the typical standard to tie into an existing line. And so these are the materials that will be needed for the contractor to provide, and we have a government estimate set at $8,000. Now, the Infotech had made mention earlier that they may encounter a difficult time or find some difficulty locating some of the equipment. And so we contacted Waterworks, and Waterworks agreed that if Infotech cannot find any or all of the materials, and they'll fill in the blanks and fill in the holes as well for us, so we can finish off this project. And that's the presentation. Now, sure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sunny. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. Sunny? Sunny, on how many? Just curious, right? How often does this happen, wherein you go in and what's supposed to be there in infrastructure wise on from the government side is not there?
Personally, this is about my second time that I've run into this, where the infrastructure is surprisingly missing. But you know, in all things, it was an old facility, and the records were probably destroyed in a storm or misplaced, and so it just happens. Things like this just happen, although very rarely.
Okay, just curious. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Well, I'm okay with the water hookup. I mean, if it's not there, it's not there. And the cost estimate sounds reasonable. But I do have a question. You know, that road from Route 4, that's a pretty narrow road. Is there ample parking around the ball field?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's plenty parking.
Okay, all right.
The pictures just don't do it justice, sir. I apologize for that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, if none, then may I get a motion on the floor?
On your wish.
This is just for the change order, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Sure.
Because if you're looking at the agenda, you're seeing the change order / contract amendment, but it is one
Right.
action.
Got
So
it.
because it's not a change order to the existing contract, it's both, right? So they were originally supposed to tap into the line, but that line is not there. So that's
Right.
why it's not in the scope of work to run a new line. So we equally have to add the addendum to the contract to add the new line. So
Got
just
it.
so that for the sake of transparency, that it's identified, but it should be a single board action.
Got it. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, that was my question because I'm looking at the agenda. Okay, so do I have a motion on the floor for Umatic Baseball Field Rehab Project change order and contract amendment as one action?
Mr. Director, Is there a document attached to this for the change order and contract amendment?
It would just be the addendum based on the language in the associated memo, Mr. Shizaki. And that'll also be, if you look at the specs, will be attached as well.
Yeah, Commissioner Shizaki, if you look at that was part of the email update that Kathleen sent about an hour ago. She sent additional documents in addition to the board packet.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding it, so.
That's
Okay,
forward.
I'll have Kathleen
Can you-
resend it to you, sir, now.
Can you just forward him the original email?
Yes, will do. We're
Okay,
doing it.
okay. I found it. It was,
Oh.
it was confusing. Okay, so it was, all right, got it.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Make it a motion. Do we? Oh no. Any motion?
All right, Mr. Chair. I move to approve change order to contract GHURA 09-26-2019. CBDG funded Infratech International LLC to rehabilitate the Pneumatic baseball field in the amount of $8,000
And the contract amendment?
in the contract amendment. Yeah.
Thank you very much. There's a motion on the floor. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez, for the second. Any further discussion on the issue at hand? Hearing and seeing none, may I call for the vote? All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand so I may see you.
Aye.
1, 2, Commissioner Corpus 3, Commissioner Sanchez 4. Thank you very much. Motion unanimously passes for the rehab project change order and contract amendment. Thank you, commissioners. Moving on to item number 5, Executive Director's Report. Madam Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will not provide an executive director's report at this time. I believe we have Sunny for a quick project update.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Sunny, floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. If I may ask Ms. Audrey to go ahead and put the presentation up on the screen one more time. It's just a few slides.
Sunny, is it the same one?
Not the change order, ma'am. There's another, hold on, I'll be back.
Okay. Okay, I did not download that. Give me 1 second.
Wow.
Very good.
Real quick. hold on.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
that
of course.
email.
Okay. Oh, doors open.
Sorry.
No,
No, good, get started. I got it.
okay. All right, so good afternoon, once again, commissioners, Madam Director and Mr. Deputy. Thank you for allowing me to make this quick A&E report. A couple of projects I'd like for you to be updated with. Next screen, Miss Audrey. Okay, as you can see in front of you, this is the Women's Treatment Center. Inland Builders received their 16 H2 workers last Monday, and they've started work on site. As you can see that they've already installed, these pictures are a little dated, I'd say about a week old. On the upper right-hand corner, that is a picture of a sewer line being installed around the periphery of the facility. And on the bottom picture, the foundation has been prepared for.
They didn't do, wait,
Francis, Fran? Mute, please.
sorry, I did.
Oh. Okay. On the lower right-hand picture, that is the foundation of the Women's Treatment Center. There is a concrete pour scheduled for tomorrow. So the project is currently at 38% completion. Once the foundation is poured, we'll probably reach around 40. Then they'll put up the first half of the concrete walls with hollow blocks. So the project will probably reach about 45% by the end of the year. That's the projected progress for the Women's Treatment Center. Next slide, please, Ms. Audrey. Okay, for the Inrahan basketball court, JJ Global is tracking about 90% complete already. Again, these are dated pictures. The court itself was fully completed and poured about December 3rd. We're just waiting for it to cure, maybe another week, and then they'll start painting the court itself. And then on the next slide, Ms. Audrey, one more, please. You can see the completed restroom facility as well as the bleachers, part of the bleacher facility is completed. And this one, we have no problems connecting to the water utilities. So lesson learned from the UMATIC project. And that completes my presentation. I did have a few more pictures, but I wasn't able to put it in the presentation for our homes project. One's in Agate and Pinell. They are at 50% completed. Next presentation, I will make sure I have an update for you on that as well. And so that completes the A&E update. Thank you. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sonny. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with Zoom today. So I only caught the tail end of the lighthouse recovery project. Can
Yes,
you cover just that for me, please?
Oh, the H2 workers have arrived, which was Monday of this week. And so Inland Builders has scheduled a concrete pour for this weekend, sir, which is a Saturday. And once they're done with that, they're going to start putting in the hollow blocks that surround the foundation itself. And so we should be moving the project right along. By the end of the year, we're anticipating a 45% completion. And Inland Builders is willing to accelerate their project. I mean, they have to. They're going to accelerate and possibly run 2 shifts if needed, just to catch up to their schedule. Now, I've yet to give them another extension because I'd like to see them perform first.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you, because I had a chat with the Lighthouse folks just last week and they said nothing's happening. So thank you. I'm glad that we're making progress.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for Mr. Sunny on the project updates? No? Thank you very much, Mr. Sunny. Division updates, Madam Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will forego division updates until the next board meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to item number 6, general discussion and announcements. We have some items in HR for performance evaluations. Are those just to put on the radar?
Yeah, at this time, I will defer to our HR, Ms. Kim Berseman.
Thank you, Director
Kim.
Liz. Thank you, Director Liz, and thank you, board again. This will be my final item. Just wanted to bring to your attention pursuant to Title V of the Guam Code, the board needs to evaluate our executive management team. So the 6 months came rather fast. So Ms. Liz is due up for her initial evaluation in January. So I just put a short table there. And just for the benefit of the new board members, the previous board in 2019 voted to each member evaluate the executive director and the deputy director, evaluate them on your own and then submit it to HR for tabulation. And then HR will report back the total score. So if the board would like to continue that, we'll just continue on with the process. And we do have a policy in place, a draft that I'll be working with legal to bring it to the board to finalize the process and procedures on the executive management evaluation. So I know very quickly that's the schedule. I will send you the email if you'd like to work off it as an email instead, but you have your hard copies. So we'll accept both. So we'll work with you on meeting the timeline accordingly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Right. Any questions on the process or any questions from the commissioners on this?
So what are the due dates? Because I think I caught there are 2 different due dates now for the executive director versus the deputy.
Yes, because the 6 months are different. Ms. Liz, the board voted for Ms. Liz's appointment to the executive position, director position on July 8th. So her 6 months will come earlier than Mr. Esteves. Mr. Esteves was approved in August. So his start date is August 22nd. That will bring a due date of 6 months for February for Mr. Esteves. So looking at the table, if Ms. Liz is due July 7th, 2023. So if you can get it to me by next December 30th or sooner, that would be great. And then Mr. Esteves is due in towards the end of February. So we got some time on his, but Ms. Liz is first up.
Okay. And you'll send out the emails, right? Would that be coming from you straight?
Probably. I could,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Or you can use your hard copy in your packet.
Got it.
Thank you. Bye now.
Thank you very much. Okay. And then item number 2 on the announcements is the proposed board meeting for Tuesday, January 10th at 12 p.m. 2023. And Audrey will send out the notices, right, to see if we have a consensus on that. Okay. Any other announcements or discussion pieces? Nope. Hearing and seeing none, we have on item number 7 on the agenda, executive session. May I call for a motion to adjourn into executive session.
All right, Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn so we can move into executive session.
Right, or yeah, to move into executive session. Thank you, Commissioner Zizaki. May I get a second?
Second that, Chair.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
1, 2, or raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. That's everybody. Any opposed? Hearing and seeing none, we will move into executive session. And while our staff prepare. Thank you very much. Please stand by.
You have